appreciate you guys for taking the time. I always know this is a lot, so thank you. I'm actually going to start with Stephen. Your character Troy could have easily come off the pages as a standard villain, right? I mean, he's not the hero, but I also don't think he's necessarily all the way bad. And I think his intentions are a little muddled in at times. But you brought a nuance to him that didn't easily paint him to a corner. How did you approach such a complicated character as Troy, and what did you bring to him?
I don't think one can. I think the most interesting characters are the most complex. And all three of us, I think we read this script and we saw an opportunity to sort of buck away from the standard. There is no villain, there is no good guy, there is no bad guy. There's just people existing and trying to do the best thing that they can for each other. So for me, as a parent, I was trying to imagine what it would be like if I'd been if there had been some cataclysmic event and I was with my eldest son and it was just the two of us, and we'd lost his mom and we were in the middle of nowhere. And what I would try and do, you would try and instill every single piece of information and wisdom that you had learned over that time. So it's, however he is viewed by the audience isn't how he's viewing himself. He's doing the best he can for his child and trying to create the best human he can. And that means giving him the tools to feed himself, to clothe himself, to live, for shelter and warmth, So I think if you come at it from that central point of view of that you're doing right by your own self and therefore your child, that hopefully that will shine through, regardless of then what other elements come into the story to change that.
Now, Drew, I think Jake's actually a very interesting character because he's a man, but he also has this sort of childlike wonder mixed with this hardcore survivalist instinct, obviously raised by his father. But though this is a thriller, the entire movie, the backbone of it is the chemistry between you and Alicia. How did you two approach the bond? But it's also parental. It walks this kind of interesting line where it's not quite black or white. It's a little different.
I think for me, Alicia and I, we obviously with Stephen and Alicia and I and all of us, we didn't have a lot of time to get to know each other. But I also wanted to kind of keep Alicia at a bit of arm's length, because there is this with Jake, there is this just explosion of bewilderment and chaos that runs through his mind and through his entire body when he sees her for the first time. And that first scene, with him and her, it's packed with vulnerability, a bit of nerves, a bit of chaos. You just don't know really where it's going to go. So I kind of wanted to keep her at arm's length, but then also get to know her a little bit, because we did have some pretty intimate scenes. So with her and I, it was really easy because she is so open and so vulnerable as a human being, but also as an artist. So, getting to spend time with her and kind of pick her brain and just be around her, I think it made both of us inherently comfortable with each other, because I knew that at some point in the story we needed to kind of evolve there. So it was really fun to kind of unpack that, especially with her, because they do have such a different relationship. And Jake has this maternal side of him, this feminine side of him that is sort of repressed, that's kind of like creeping its way out slowly through the years, and then when he meets her, it's just kind of this explosion of everything that he sort of felt and kind of knew was underlying in the reality that he lives in.
Alicia, so your character Henrietta actually is kind of an arc that I didn't see coming. Of course, it's not something they would display in the trailers, but I was surprised to see this go in a slightly different direction than I had anticipated. So can I ask you, what was it about Henrietta you were eager to explore? And were these themes something that you were interested in prior, or is it something you kind of got into with the character herself?
Thank you. I think that, this is a drama and a thriller, but it is grounded in this emotional through line. So you get all the exciting, exhilarating feelings when you're the thriller aspect, but it's also so layered in it and complex. And that really is what drew me to it. And Henrietta, I think, is just, she's starting her life over. She's trying to find herself, and she's retreated to a more simple way of life, and really left her children to do so. So there's trauma that she's sorting out. And so when she meets Drew's character, Jake, she, at first, it's very alarming, but as they get to know each other, there's a sort of, he represents the beauty in the world that she's seeking. He speaks beautifully. His manly way of knowing how to care in nature and to take care of things, and how he's so sure about, he's so direct about everything. He's like a little baby, alien nugget who was just born. He's just says it how it is, and this is the thing, and that's very pure. And so there's no agenda. She's not trying to sift through any bullshit. He's right there, and it's just so clear. And so I think there's a connection there that's formed based on what she's looking for and needing, and what he's looking for and needing.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me. It comes out this Friday. I'm really excited for people to see it. I think it's going to do very well. So
thank you so much, man. Appreciate
cheers,
it.
guys.
Take it easy, man.
You good? Yeah. He got a couple of rounds off, but he's a lousy shot. You're early.
I heard the shots. I just wanted to help.
Your time will come to bury plenty of men. It's just as important for you to stay. Keep our home safe.
I'm ready now.
I know. And I think we're getting too comfortable. He was on his way to our cabin. When we're not prepared, we'll be the ones getting buried. Now you take care of this SOB. I'm gonna go back to the cabin and get cleaned up. Dad! What? You're bleeding. Fuck. Oh, it's nothing. Don't worry. You finish up here and meet me back at the cabin. Go on. This is not a democracy. Let me in. Let him go! Hey! Troy, let him go! Okay. Dad! Jakey, I will protect you until the day I die.
After the wars, it was very obvious who was prepared and who wasn't. There's those who are prepared for opportunities and setbacks, and those who are not. I feel real lucky to have the dad I do.
You know, the wars are in the past. Focus on the future. Outsiders are a plague that'll ruin our world. You need to be ready to bury anybody you come across. Dad! You're bleeding! The antibiotics are too old. I got this. You're gonna be okay, I promise. Do not underestimate them or you will not make it back here alive. Put a bullet between the eyes of any person you see. Man, woman, or child. You see outsiders?
Yeah.
And?
What are you doing here?
Killed him dead.
Do you want to get those clothes dry? You're not a killer.
What is happening to you?
It's not what's happening to me. It's what you said it was out there. And it is not the chaos that you've always described.
You want to tell me what's going on?
I just want the truth, Dad.
You can't trust one of them.
She lied to me.
She needs to die, Jake.